Over the years, the Marvel Cinematic Universe has really grown to include a large cast of characters that we've all really grown to know and love over the years. And one of these characters is Wanda, also known as the Scarlet Witch, who was introduced really in Avengers Age of Ultron, but has served as a central character in the MCU and has really grown a lot as both a character and a hero in her own right. So today we thought it would be really interesting to take a look back over the course of the MCU, specifically phases 2 and 3, and look at some of the greatest scenes of the Scarlet Witch. And we thought this would be kind of a fun idea, especially with the new Disney Plus show that will be coming out, which will have the show called WandaVision, which will follow the Scarlet Witch and Vision. So that being said, let's go ahead and take a look back at some of these great scenes.
Agent Romanoff, you miss me?
Oh yeah, Charles, we got ourselves an X-Men fan.
Captain.
Your Highness.
Captain, big fan, Spider-Man. Hey everyone.
First up, this one dates back the furthest as we look at Captain America, the Winter Soldier. In the post-credits scene, we see the first time we ever actually get a look that the Scarlet Witch would be coming to the MCU, which is actually a really big deal back in the day because at the time, there was never any chance that we thought it would be possible for a character that technically existed more as a mutant and would serve more likely in the X-Men universe rather than the Marvel Cinematic Universe to be translated into the MCU. And it was kind of a really big deal that we were going to see a version of this character that could exist in the MCU at the same time. Who would have thought that down the road things would change and now we're likely to see a ton of mutant characters and X-Men characters coming to the MCU, but back then it was really iconic. And here is that clip just to remember how awesome it truly was.
Sooner or later, they will meet the twins. It's not a world of spies anymore, not even a world of heroes. This is the age of miracles, Doctor. There's nothing more horrifying than a miracle.
Then we go into Avengers Age of Ultron, where the Scarlet Witch for the most part really played a villain character and a minor antagonist all the way through the story, and her backstory was pretty fair, making her a relatively sympathetic villain. But there's the really cool scene where she interacts with Hawkeye and essentially decides to step up to the plate and do the right thing and become an Avenger, which was really something that she hated, or a group of people that she had a lot of disdain towards. So the fact that she was able to change her ways and realize that is a really interesting story arc that they did in Age of Ultron actually really well. Let's go ahead and see this clip. Next, as we fast forward to Captain America Civil War, we can start to see some really unique interactions between the Scarlet Witch and Vision. Both of them had really unique backgrounds, and just hearing a more down-to-earth conversation between these characters in the kitchen actually plays up a lot as to what happens both later in this movie and later with this character's story arc, as we see this character along with Vision grow together in the Avengers Infinity War movie. And it'll be really interesting to see how this scene kind of plays back later on, especially with what happens later on in Civil War.
Lift your spirits.
Spirits lifted.
In my defense, I haven't actually ever...
Similarly, in Civil War, while we see these characters have a very interesting interaction together, when we get later in the film, we actually see Wanda use her powers against Vision. And it's almost foreshadowing what happens in Avengers Infinity War, and because of the foreshadowing and the very blatant, just interesting character development going on here, it made the moments in Infinity War so much better and really, really cool and more emotional. And we really appreciated just that attention to detail along the way.
afraid of you.
I can't control their fear. Only my own.
Next up, we go to Avengers Infinity War, which of course took place a couple years after Civil War, and we hadn't seen these characters in quite some time, so to find that they had been in hiding together and had been pursuing each other romantically was somewhat of a surprise, but it never really took anyone off guard as it felt really fitting. And while we didn't have a lot of time to see how these two characters interacted together, really the directors of Infinity War did such a great job at making a believable relationship together and show chemistry between these characters when they really didn't have to go that extra mile and do it. And it paid off, and we really appreciate how they handled their scenes together.
I just feel you.
So there's a 10 a.m. to Glasgow to give us more time together.
Of course, then we can jump into some more action scenes with the Scarlet Witch, and we have this great scene from Infinity War right after they get attacked by the Black Order, and it's really just a great example of her power and her abilities, and we're gonna get even more of that in a little bit.
The blade. It stopped me from phasing.
Is that even possible?
It wasn't supposed to be. My sister's planet.
While also in Infinity War, there were a ton of scenes that really just showed off the Scarlet Witch's abilities. One of the ones that was the strongest was the fact that she had to turn and kill Vision to attempt to save the day. And it is really, really frustrating to watch just because of the situation that she was in, and at this point in the film they get you so emotionally attached to this couple that you don't really expect it to be as heart-wrenching as it was there. But honestly, this was such a crazy moment, and sure enough it led to another iconic moment in Infinity War, and there's so many iconic moments in that film alone that we really appreciate it. And finally, this clip is just kind of the greatest clip to tie up Wanda's story arc so far, but after everything that happened between her interactions with Vision, joining the Avengers, and just what she had to deal with on Wakanda, after the universe is snapped back, she still lost something very important to her and decides to face off against Thanos one-on-one, and we really get a glimpse at how powerful the Scarlet Witch is. And it's rumored that this character could potentially be one of the strongest, if not the strongest, Avenger. So it'll be really interesting to see more of this, but honestly, the face-off of Thanos gives us a pretty big sneak peek on how powerful this character truly is. So what did you guys think of this video? Are you a fan of the Scarlet Witch? Hit the like button down below if you are, and be sure to subscribe with notifications on for more retrospectives like this. We really like going back into the past of the MCU and appreciating how a lot of these characters have grown over the years, and we're excited to see what they end up doing with this Disney Plus show. We think there's a lot of potential there. They could tell some great stories that really expand this character's arc even more and lead us into the future. But for now, we want to leave you guys with that. But anyways, guys, that is it for today. We'll see you all next time with a brand new video. Bye, guys.
Talking?
I'm about to.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, everybody. How you doing?
Hi.
Hi. See you guys.